Another player that Arsenal have been linked with, a fullback himself, but Raul Sociedad tied with the last attempt to hijack Arsenal's £7 million move for Benfica left-back Nuno Tavares. Despite offering him a more lucrative contract, it looks like he's going to be siding with the Gunners. Jerome, you had a little look at him. What's Nuno Tavares saying? What's he going to bring to Arsenal? What kind of player is he? Is it an exciting signing? Is it a good signing at £7 million? So
price-wise, it doesn't seem very risky, does it? It's not like there's a massive outlay of money for someone that's old and you can't make any money on. It seems as though, look, he hasn't officially signed yet. We're already talking about him potentially leaving, but if he does leave, it seems as though you can probably recoup most of that, if not maybe even a bit more. You're not spending a lot of money. So what type of player is he? So obviously he's at Benfica, and he hasn't even been their first choice left back. He's second choice behind a guy called Alex Grimaldo, who was ex-Barcelona, played for Barcelona's B team, and he's been Benfica's left back for about 4 or 5 seasons now. What's interesting to note is something quite obvious, but this might be something that's playing into Arteta's mind, is being a Portuguese speaker. Both of our left-sided centre-backs are Portuguese speakers, Marie and Gabriel. So that could potentially, not saying, you sign someone because of the language they speak, but maybe that's played. Yeah, it helps. It does help. He's 6 foot tall, which is quite big for a fullback, and he's very decent in the air.
Steve will like that.
Yeah. As I was saying, he was second choice last season, and this isn't something to get too excited about. He only started 7 league games last season, because I guess the second choice fullback, normally they'll only really play if the first choice is injured. Perhaps it's very rare that you would put your faith in the second choice if the first choice is fit. However, his style of play, which is something I guess Arteta likes, is very similar to Tierney's. Bombs down the line. Very positive in his approach. So he won't get a bit like Kolasinac used to do. A lot of fullbacks do it. They'll get the ball and they'll sort of, their first choice is to turn inside and play it back to the centre back. I think that if he gets the ball, his first choice is, right, can I go forward? Yeah. Can I bomb on? Plenty of crosses. Quite leggy, a bit like Wan-Bissaka. If you were to have any question marks about him, or ones that have been raised, it has been, how good is he defensively? How good is he when he gets tested going backwards? But on the ball, making things happen and being someone that can contribute offensively, he can do that. But this is him playing is obviously all dependent on what happens with Tierney, how fit he is. But it's nice that they brought in someone young, not someone that sort of had their career. He's got everything to prove, and I think this is probably the type of cover for Tierney that seems very sensible, and I think a lot of the fans should be quite happy about, in my opinion. So not someone that's going to change the way Arsenal play. He's not going to make us from 8th to 1st, but he's going to improve our our other options if Tierney gets into that. People do say he's sort of both-footed as well, so he has played right back on occasions. But I'd be very surprised if he does play these. He just seems like just the Tierney backup to me.
All right, thanks for that, Jerome. Yeah, no, I didn't look at myself. And he's as you said, I wouldn't be surprised if we found out later down the line that he was a former winger, because he seems that type of way. He's so attacking, step overs, strong, as you said, good in the air. When I saw him, look, obviously I've only seen highlights, but when I saw him, it looks like something that's quite exciting. Not too young. Was he 21? So, he's a backup left back, and hopefully over time he can push to put pressure on Cheney, because that's what you want. Tina is not the kind of player that just rests on his laurels and sits there and is comfortable. He's not that kind of person. Yeah. But it's always good to have a challenge. It's always good to have competition and another option. So, which we haven't had this season. Playing Granit Xhaka at left back, Saka, which worked at times, but you're losing a top class young winger, and you're putting him left back. And Kolasinac just he had his time at Arsenal when he first came in, but it kind of, I think, some criticism may have got to his head, and he changed his game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this guy in an Arsenal shirt if he does finally complete his deal. So yeah, what are you thinking on this one, Steve?
I've not watched him as intensely as what Jerome goes. I just watched one little bit of highlights, and the first thing that came into my head was Kieran Tierney, and that's why I smiled when he said Kieran Tierney, and all the way through Jerome's analysis, I was thinking, is he going to say Tierney? Is he going to say Tierney? Because I think he looked like Tierney. And when he went Tierney, I was like, yes. Jerome says it, so I'm happy now. I'll go sleep tonight.
Tall as well. I'm surprised at just over 6 foot as well for a left back, which is really good.
He needs reining in. He's a bit raw.
Yes,
what I thought, he's a little bit raw, but as far as transfer wise, I mean, 8 million. I think it's pretty good for me. 8 million, can't go wrong there. Covering left back, so he's only always going to be a covering left back. At the moment, as far as transfer goes, he's not at Benfica's training ground. They're training there. He's not there, and Tavares at the moment is in quarantine in the airport at Portugal. Yeah. So he's on his way over for medical. That's to me. That's done. That's done. It's done.
Yeah.
Done.